Hey, good morning, guys. So, wanted to create this quick video as from a request from inside the group. Um, so this is so the play today was a really good one so far. There's many more still to come today. There's some good movement, but what I wanted to show real quick on this one was how I was able to find Neuro and buy in at 1265 on the morning flush, and then was able to sell it, and I sold it up in the high 13s, which has actually moved much higher, but it's actually coming back into to play now. So let me go through initially how this all kind of happened and how I found the morning flush. So I have my normal morning flush watch list here. Put that together every morning. All right, and what I was looking at here is on this one in the morning. So going back a little while, I was looking at the 1, 3, and 5 minute, 1, 3, and 5 minute intervals, right? And so starting with the 5, and what I was seeing here was some pretty heavy resistance down low, but I actually wanted to get in a little bit quicker, about 1265 initially. So I saw it changed a little bit now that there's some volume, but I saw kind of the lighter resistance was at that time around 1265. So I figured with good volume, where it was at, my first buy order would be in at 1265, and then I ran it down a little bit more, and I think my total average was 1258 because I actually averaged up at 1.2. All right, so I I was able to do that knowing that I have pretty heavy resistance down below, not too far below, right? So I'm pretty comfortable with where things were at that point. But I also knew that I had a good gap to fill, and even on the 3 and the 5s, again, pretty heavy resistance support down here, some light support here as well, and then I had good gaps, like some big time gaps, even on the 1 minute. So what I was looking at initially, now this has moved up because I think it's going to go again, and probably a good time to get back into it. Also because of the what I'm seeing on FinViz, so my signals and my indicator as well. So I'm showing both, right? So the first thing, actually, I apologize, was early in the morning. This popped up, right? So now more have popped up, but this was the first one that popped up right after the open, right? So that gives me my first indication that this has now dropped under 60 RSI. That's where I keep it, right? So it's above that. It's got volume. It's over 1.5 of relative volume. And it's got good, decent average volume, but as long as it's got over 1 million, I know we're in pretty good shape. So it's got heavy volume. You can see that it's just still flying now. And so that popped up. That was the first one that popped up. So right away, it was already on my watch list because of the volume. I went into here to take a look at it, and this is where I started to look at those price intervals. Then once I get it, right, so once it hits my my target, then I actually just so these are the other ones that I'm kind of holding right now. So then I'm sitting there, and I am going to watch this. Obviously, right now I want to look again my 1, my 3, and my 5. All right, and I want to start seeing. All right, is the support still as strong? Sometimes even going up to all the way 15 minutes. And again, even on the 15, it was holding pretty strong there. So I knew that we were in really good shape on that. Now I'm looking at, all right, what's my lowest heavy resistance? The indicator I use for this, if you go in here, so if you go in FinViz, you go type in indicators, and it's a swing 5-5. All right, so that's the name of the indicator. You should be able to go in, just go into here, go into swing 5. You know what? It might have changed names. I will get you guys that on a separate one. I got to go in and see what the name of it is in here again. This is what gives me my highest level of Adler on swing 5. I got to find the name of it, and I'll get it back over to you. It's one that I actually had custom built a while ago. Then I had to tweak, and now it is in there as a free indicator. But I can't remember what we called it. I'll have to make sure I get that and get that over to you. But either way, that's the name of it. All right. And that gives me my resistance and support, primary resistance and support levels. Now, I also use another one for what's called gaps. And I use their momentum algo. And that gives me some of the smaller resistance points. Right. So this is or support points. All right. So basically what I'm going back here and I'm looking at where my next levels, right? So on the lowest level, on the 15-minute, we're looking at about 14.13, and then it actually goes up and up, right? So at this one, I wanted to be safe. I wanted to take the initial profits, so I got out at about 14. I think I got out at the halt at 14.21, and then it just kept going, right? So I definitely lost a little bit, but now with a pullback, it is back in my alerts, because once it gets over 60 RSI, it leaves. You can see now that it is back in. It's going back up. It's at 58. So what I'm looking for now again is to potentially get back in that, right? So if I were to get back in this, I'm looking at where are my pullbacks, right? And what's the lowest it might be able to hit. I don't think it'll hit all the way down to 12. So it could. I'm going to take a look at the 1 minute. So I'll burst through the 1 minute. So that means we have a little bit of support here, about 1406. The volume's still on the selling side, so it still has an opportunity to get to that. And again, this is probably pretty low. So I would look to get back in here at about, this one looks pretty good, 1393 to maybe 1410. And, and if it gets down to those levels, it can shoot back up. It can shoot back up pretty quickly. Now, the other one I'm in right now is CEMI. Right, so the same thing I saw. So this one popped up second today in my screener, and this one here was, was looking at great volume. Had an early pop this morning, came back down in, so you can see a little bit of the price action. So it came up. It popped up here in the morning. So it got up to about 340. And then it came back down, but the 50 and the 200 are trending up. It hit over pretty high on the 30-minute RSI, but on the daily, it's still sitting under 60, which is my key indicator, but it's moving upwards, right? So it's in a good trend line, moving back upwards, and we're starting to move towards an upward trend on the 50 and the 200. So this is where I saw. Again, going into TradingView, I'm looking at my heavy support, heavy resistance, right? So I'm very confident going all the way up, I think, to the 15-minute. Now the 15-minute drops, but based on the flow, on my 5, 3, and 1, based on where things are going with some green buying on the overall flow, that we've got some major resistance at support at 305 or so. So I got in a little bit higher. I went in, and my average right now is about 312. So I'm in at, but I said it in there before, I would go down to about 305 on this as well. And then I'm looking at, now this is shrinking, which concerns me and makes it less of a valuable day trade. Because before this was up in the 340 range, looks like we're getting some consolidation here. And now it's going to have to break through higher levels of stronger levels of support. So I might pull out of this trade, because little by little, this is the channel shrinking here, right? So it looks like it's going to have a hard time getting through about 323, 324. So I'm gonna keep an eye on it. Now, if it breaks through that, it can get up to that 340 range. And then, if looks like it's got some heavy resistance at that 340 range, but I'm going to keep it right now, see where it goes, but we're definitely getting more consolidation than I would have liked before a pop. And I'm not sure if on a day trade, on a scalp, this is going to make sense. I might let it settle a little bit more and then can get back into it later. So that's what I'm seeing. I wanted to give you those two trades, how I did it, what I'm looking at. First step is setting up FinViz. And setting up the buy signal, what I call the buy signal screener. Now I've got multiples in there, but this is my favorite one. All right, it's under 20, over 200 average volume, between 25 and 60 RSI, relative volume over 1.5, current volume over 1 million, and a float under 50 million. Now you can make these tighter if you really wanted to. Go to the float under 20 million. Gets rid of a couple people. As you get later in the day, you probably want to go make sure that the volume's continuing. So go over 2 million. And then, average volume will kind of work itself out if it's already over 1 million. All right. So this brings it down to just some of the key, kind of 4, right? You don't want to have too many trades to work off of. Now, TAOP is something I'm definitely watching today. Now, the price action's been a little bit stagnant in here. So I'm going to watch. I'm going to go down here, go into the 30. I am going to watch if it can break back over the 200 and the 50 moving average here. And if it can, then this becomes a really great trade again, because it did already pop. It's got good volume, and it's looking like it's in a pretty good spot, but it's kind of just petered out, similar to what I'm seeing in CEMI right now. It's taking a while to get to that, but right. So it's got a bigger channel, which is nice, much bigger. So this might be a good trade to look into. I'll keep an eye on that in this range here. It looks like it's hitting this 338 ranges, and then it's got a little bit of a valley there. All right, so that's what I'm looking at. Again, the first step is going to your screener, getting this in, seeing what pops up, and the second set is making sure you've got your watch list set up. All right, so again, it's that I'm going to try to find my the primary indicator I use here, which is this resistance and support. These are just your RSIs, your MACDs, and some money flow. I'll keep them as secondary, so I'll watch this primarily, and then I'll make sure. So once this crosses over, again, I'm starting to feel more confident. Tried to before, couldn't do it. Crosses over the MACD, obviously very important cross back here. So, showing me that there's some power here. Really low RSI, which means that it's due for a bounce. So this is a good one. I don't know if this one will hit today. It looks like it kind of petered out, and it's going to have to see where volume is at. So I'll keep an eye on volume, of course. And if it starts to, I'm going to keep an eye, but it's much lower. So CMI and NURO are the two main plays I'm watching. TAOP, I like maybe on a swing, but for a scalp today, I'm not sure there's enough volume for it. Hope that helps. Let me know if you have any questions. I know this is a little bit long, but looking forward to, hopefully continuing to help you guys jump into these plays, be able to, to make some good quick money off of it.